My ride-or-die best friend had done a total 180 on his entire personality. The guy who had been a hardcore homebody his whole life had suddenly gone off the deep end for parties and social events. Honestly, if he just wanted to hit up parties, I could have let that slide. But the crazy part was that he kept dragging me along to every single one of them. What was even worse, he started setting me up with all kinds of women left and right. He found gold diggers, toxic train wrecks, and hardcore feminists, you name it. Finally, I hit my limit and kept grilling him about it again and again. That was when he finally fessed up and told me the real deal. Turned out he had been saddled with something called the backstab system. The more women despised me, the more cash he raked in. I was pumped beyond belief the second I heard that. I laid a huge slap right across Maria, the toxic chick's face, in front of everyone. I played Willow the Gold Digger like a cheap toy, and I publicly roasted Sophia on my TikTok livestream. In the end, every single woman blocked and deleted me across the board. But my brother and I split the take right down the middle. We walked away with a massive fortune in no time flat. My ride-or-die partner Liam Smith had called me out of the blue. He kept drilling into me that I had to make it to this class reunion in New York no matter what. I was a little suspicious since he had always been a die-hard homebody. Even if he had suddenly gotten into the party scene, why was he so dead set on dragging me into it? I did not dwell on it much and just let it slide. But the second I walked in the next day, I regretted every choice that led me there. What kind of circus was this place? It was basically a full-on freak exhibition. Across the table was a girl who called herself curvy. She was pushing 200 pounds easy. She had grease all over her mouth, chowing down like there was no tomorrow. And she flashed a set of crooked teeth. Right in front of everybody, she went on a massive rant about her boyfriend. She said if he were not at least somewhat honest, she would not even give him the time of day. He was broke and worthless, totally incapable of giving her the lifestyle she deserved. It suddenly hit me that this girl had been exactly the same way back in high school. She was always spewing that man-hating garbage out in the open. She had even falsely accused her desk mate of harassing her back in the day. And now a woman like that actually had a boyfriend. I could not stop myself from rolling my eyes. Liam Smith suddenly leaned over and whispered in my ear, "James, tear her apart." "What?" I said under my breath. "Can we not just talk smack about her later in private? This is a class reunion, man. There are way too many people here. Even some of our old teachers showed up. Let us just not start anything." Liam Smith looked disappointed and was about to push back. But then a rapid-fire string of iMessage alerts cut him off. The girl next to me, our old English class rep, had her phone buzzing like crazy. I caught a glimpse of her screen flashing over and over. The notifications were all from Simp 1, Simp 2, and Simp 3. The girl beside her could not resist poking fun at Maria. "Oh, Maria, is your boyfriend keeping tabs on you?" Maria put on this fake demure act, but you could tell she was practically glowing with smugness. If it were just one guy, that would be one thing. But juggling three at once is honestly a handful. And the thing is, they all love dropping cash on me. I cannot bring myself to ditch any of them. Such a pain. Another girl immediately gasped. "Wow, Maria, how do you train them? You have to teach us. There are so few decent guys around these days. And you are managing to string along three at the same time." Every guy at the table had their brows knitted in deep frowns. But plenty of the girls were watching with nothing but envy in their eyes. Liam Smith leaned in again. "James, lay into her." I gave him a long, hard look. He nervously scratched his head, his eyes bouncing around like they could not land on me. I kept my eyes locked on him until he finally cracked and bolted for the restroom. So naturally I followed him and cornered him in there. I flashed him a sly grin. "You are an open book, man. I can see every shady thought in your head. Stop dancing around it and just spill the truth." Liam Smith hesitated for a long moment, then grabbed me and pulled me into one of the stalls. In a hushed, secretive tone, he finally laid out the whole truth. He said he had gotten stuck with this thing called the backstab system. The more women hated me, the more money he would make. So today, he just wanted to test the waters. I was stunned and stood there speechless. Anyone else in his shoes would not have been so upfront. They would be trying to get me to stir things up in person, and then talk smack behind my back. They would make every woman despise me on the down low. That would have been the smarter play. Too bad Liam Smith was just way too simple-minded. We had been tight for over a decade. If I had not been looking out for him, he would probably be. He was the kind of guy who would get swindled and then cheerfully help the con man count the bills. Even though I was only half buying this system business he was selling, I still gave Liam Smith a pat on the shoulder and told him, "So you just want to see if this thing is for real? All right then, let's go raise some hell together." I had barely stepped out of the stall when I ran into a girl at the sink. She was casually touching up her makeup in the mirror. Before I could even open my mouth, she suddenly shrieked, "Oh my God, can you not see there is a girl in the men's restroom? Get out right now, or I will yell sexual harassment." I blinked and said, "Hold up, listen to yourself. Does that even make any sense? This is the men's room. What are you doing in here?" She shot me a nasty glare and snapped back, "Why can't women use the men's restroom?" I said, "So by that logic, I can just stroll into the women's room too." She fired right back, "That is totally different. The women's room always has a huge line. The men's room is always empty. Men have no respect for women, so why should we not use theirs?" I deadpan back, "The men's locker room is usually empty too. Why do you not go take a shower in there? A pig pen is pretty roomy too. Why do you not just move into one? Respecting women is not the same as respecting farm animals. You have already barged into the men's room. If I still called you a lady after that, then you might as well not have bothered coming in at all." With that, I grabbed Liam Smith and headed for the door. By the time she processed what I said and started screaming insults at my back, we were already back in the private booth. The second we sat down, Liam Smith glanced at his phone and shouted, "Holy crap." He was so pumped he could not keep his voice down. "It is for real." He shoved his phone screen right in my face. 10 grand had just hit his bank account. Liam Smith and I locked eyes, and we were both practically on fire. Liam Smith said, "Whether we hit the jackpot is all on you now." I felt the blood rush straight to my head. Across the table, that curvy girl was going off to a group of women with pure glee. She said, "Listen up, ladies, remember this. If a guy will not drop cash on you, why even bother dating? My boyfriend does not have much going for him otherwise, but he knows how to shell out the dough. Every time he sends money, he even labels it voluntary gift. Now all I have to do is say, 'Babe, I am broke. Hubby, I am starving.' And that ATM just starts dishing out the cash." I threw back a whole glass of liquor and did not say a thing. I got up, walked out, and grabbed a handful of salt. When I came back, everyone was just gawking at me. Smack! I laid one right across her cheek. I grinned and said, "That one is on the house." The gold digger was frozen for a solid few seconds. Then she shrieked, "James, have you lost your mind?" I pointed at the mirror glass and told her, "Take a good look at your pathetic self. I would bet your boyfriend has never even seen real pork in his entire life. He has only ever seen pigs on TV. Your face is so pitted and lumpy, it has more craters than the moon. I am guessing your brain and cerebellum only grew halfway before they had to make space for your intestines. TSK, and you have the nerve to look down on other people. You should be grateful someone is even willing to toss salt on you and exfoliate that mug. You ought to be bowing in gratitude. Even if you max out the beauty filter to 10, it still could not smooth out that face." The booth went dead silent in an instant. Toxic Maria leaped to her defense immediately. "James, what is wrong with you? Mind your own business. No wonder you are still single." I did not say a word back. I just grabbed her phone right out of her hand. I bolted into the private restroom attached to the booth and locked the door behind me. Then I called up each one of her boyfriend one by one. "Hey, I am this toxic chick's old high school classmate. She is juggling 3 dudes at the same time, and she's playing every single one of you for fools. She was just making jokes about you in front of everyone. You guys should steer clear of this garbage. Oh, and I heard you all bought her a ton of designer stuff. Make sure you get them back from her." Outside, Maria was practically beating the door down. She was pounding and screaming, "Oh my God, James, you asshole, give me back my phone." I jerked the door open. Maria came charging at me with bloodshot eyes, ready to tear me apart. Liam Smith quickly jumped in front and spoke up fast. "James, are you all right? Are you trying to hurt someone? Should I call a doctor for you? What happened all of a sudden? You were doing so well before." I have always had a short fuse. I had told Liam Smith way back, if I ever really started acting out, I'd already told him ages ago that if things went south, he should use that line to drag me out. I never expected it to work that well. The second Liam Smith finished, Maria instinctively backed up 3 paces. Even our old homeroom teacher asked cautiously, "Is James having some kind of episode?" Liam Smith sighed and tapped his own temple. "Yeah, he has been keeping it under control. It is probably that chick from the men's room earlier. Her insane logic just pushed him over the edge. Nobody in the room dared to make a peep. I held my head like it was about to split open. I pointed at the gold diggers and toxic girls and screamed, 'None of you are getting away. Not a single one of you.' Every single girl there took a synchronized step backward. Liam Smith half dragged me out of the booth. Once we were alone outside, we just stared at each other. Liam Smith whipped out his phone right away. He looked at the screen, and we both froze. Deposit, 500 grand. There were 25 girls in that room today, and it seemed like almost every single one of them now hated my guts. The deposits just varied in size. Obviously, it was based on how much each one despised me, which meant the closer a girl was to me, the more cash I raked in once she turned on me. Liam Smith's hands were shaking as he clutched his phone for dear life. We were set for life. We were actually set for life. Without a second of hesitation, he transferred half the money straight to my account. If I ever get rich, I will never leave you behind. My eyes immediately welled up. I choked out, "Bro, do you want even more cash?" Liam Smith nodded frantically. Hell yes. I suddenly remembered this gold digger I had run into a while back. I had been driving a buddy's car to give Liam Smith a lift. The second I stopped, she acted all nuts and forced her way in. Within 10 minutes, she was sobbing and begging to get with me. She just kept pestering me again and again. She was not just crying, she was screaming about killing herself. I had planned to never deal with that idiot again. But now my thinking had changed. She was not an idiot, she was my cash cow goddess. So I called Willow and asked her to grab a meal. She said yes right away. What I did not count on was that her bestie had to tag along. The second we sat down, her best friend sized me up like I was a criminal on trial. She rolled her eyes and said, "Dressed like a total slob, you are obviously a loser." I waved my hands right away. No, I'm not a loser. I do not have a car, a house, or money. That is true. But I gamble, drink, smoke, and chase women. I have got all the vices covered. Her best friend's face looked like she had swallowed a mouthful of mud. She snapped, "You scumbag, broke loser, parasite. You think you deserve to date my bestie." Willow quickly jumped in to smooth things over. "Of course not. James is just messing around. How could he be broke? He drives a Ferrari." Her best friend paused and muttered quietly, "Ferrari." She tucked her hair behind her ear. Then she let out a fake, scornful snort. "You are not exactly straightforward. You cannot just joke about stuff like that. It is so tacky. Do you not get it? And besides, my bestie is gorgeous. Only a handsome, rich CEO could ever be good enough for her. But do not get it twisted. Having a little cash does not mean you can push her around. She's really sensitive. If you marry her, you have to turn over every penny you have for her to control. So she feels secure. And she can be a handful with a real temper. You have to patiently soothe and spoil her before she could even finish." I'd already shoved 2 giant croissants into my mouth. Crumbs were flying all over the place. I even reached over and grabbed the one off Willow's plate. With crumbs raining down, I mumbled through my mouth full, "If you do not want it, I will have it." Willow's best friend shrieked right there, wiping crumbs off her face. She accidentally knocked over the glass of water on the table. I shot up from my chair. My hands were a mess of chocolate. I even tried to help her wipe it off. "Miss, are you all right?" Her eyes were rolling so hard they nearly disappeared. She almost collapsed onto Willow, gasping and yelling, "Willow, if you stay with him, I'm cutting you off for good." I apologized like crazy and kissed up to her the whole time. I finally managed to see her off. When I got back, Willow's face was clearly sour. "James, what has gotten into you? You cannot even win over my bestie. Whatever, losing a catch like me. You will definitely regret it." After her little speech, I let out a dramatic sigh. I guess this really is goodbye for good. At least give me a goodbye hug. Willow looked totally unwilling, but she still blushed. She tugged at her skirt and smoothed down her hair. She thought I was truly heartbroken to lose her. She acted all reluctant while moving closer, waiting for me to wrap my arms around her. I could not keep a straight face. I leaned in close and whispered excitedly, "Your bestie was terrified you might actually land a decent man." And she already added me on iMessage herself. The second I said that, Willow went completely rigid. I was laughing so hard, I almost fell off my chair. You can still catch her if you hurry. You will see her confessing to me on iMessage already. That is the way it is. Your bestie just backstabbed you and stole your guy. Willow completely lost it. She shoved me aside. Her face was white as a sheet, and she ran out sobbing after her bestie. Girl, are you even my girl anymore? Did you not say you would look out for me? Were you not always on about girls sticking together?" With both of them gone, I called Liam Smith over right away. We could not let all that food go to waste. But the second he walked in, he slipped and fell to his knees right in front of me. I hauled him to his feet. Liam Smith's eyes were red, and he was so worked up he was about to sob. $1 million, James. $1 million? That is so much money. I burst out laughing. Think bigger than that. This system is basically handing us free cash. The only catch is it has to make you backstab me. Honestly, I'm getting a little teary-eyed too, noticing all the other diners staring our way. I paused. Then I gave Liam Smith a solid clap on the shoulder and announced, "Liam Smith, I just dumped your sister. I was only paying for a lifetime housekeeper. She does not even get it. You go teach her some manners." The same people who had just watched Willow storm out were all completely shocked. Liam Smith looked completely lost with confusion all over his face. But the women in the restaurant were already shooting me dirty looks. Liam Smith's phone was going off like a machine gun with deposit alerts. He finally caught on to what I was doing. He wailed at the top of his lungs, "Brother-in-law, whatever you do, do not ask for that dowry back. Leave me a little something so I can get married someday. You will always be my real brother-in-law. Do not worry, I will get her in line the second I get home." No acting there. That was all pure emotion. On the ride back to Columbia, Liam Smith dumped a bucket of cold water on me. The system ran on jealousy and hatred. That is why it was called the backstab system. But the way we had been using it, the system had not absorbed any energy whatsoever. Instead, in just a few days, it had lost 2 million. The system finally had enough. It reported the situation and was getting ready to forcefully swap hosts. I was completely floored. Did that not mean our window for getting rich was closing fast? No way. As long as I was breathing, I was going to milk this dry. I was going to fleece this thing for everything it was worth. But driving women crazy one by one was taking too long. I was racking my brain on how to make one big score. Liam Smith suddenly burst into my dorm room, looking totally freaked out. "James, did you check the campus Facebook page?" He thrust his phone right in my face. It was a long rant from Willow under her real name, saying I was vile and trashy, messing with her feelings and leading her on, and messing around with her bestie, cursing like a sailor with zero morals. That post had gone viral with over 1,000 shares already. I nearly laughed until I could not breathe. It was like the universe was handing me exactly what I needed. I immediately replied under my real name. Yep, that is me, James Miller. That is exactly who I am. You nailed it." Before long, my trash reputation had spread all over campus. Even girls who had never laid eyes on me started to despise me. Liam Smith's account was getting hit with transfer alerts nonstop. My own account got exposed too. A mob of people came at me with insults. Seeing the hype was that big, I doubled down with a new post. Do you have gold diggers in your life? Radical feminists? Or those empty-headed types who take their bestie's word as absolute truth? Do you have a ton of frustrations with no outlet? Send me everything you want to say in the next 3 days. I will start a TikTok live stream under the name James Miller. I will be your roast proxy and tear every one of them apart for you. Send in your stories. When I first put that post up, I honestly was not expecting much. Within 3 days, my DMs blew up completely. They were filled with all kinds of school gossip and juicy secrets. I scrolled through them, my eyes spinning and my face glowing with glee. Liam Smith figured I was getting torn to shreds. He was about to come over to console me. I gave his shoulder a knowing pat. "Bro, get ready for a tidal wave of cash." 10 minutes before I went live, The room was already packed with students waiting for the drama. Someone commented, "Our senior Willow already exposed this gross guy, and you're all giving him more views." Almost instantly, someone fired back. "Honestly, I have been over Willow for ages. She is always posting radical feminist garbage on the school forum. She trashes men constantly. It is disgusting. I feel like James is doing the right thing here." Another one chimed in, "Agreed. I am in James Miller's class. He is actually a pretty decent guy." Someone else piled on, "You probably just got on Willow's bad side. Everyone knows some girls can hold a grudge tighter than a pinhole." Of course, there were people pushing back too. "That is insane. You gross guys have totally twisted morals. You are actually defending a scumbag who toys with women." Right away, another reply came. "It looks like that struck a nerve. Probably triggered the toxic chicks. Why are some people taking it so personally? Haha." The live stream had not even gone live. The comments had already turned into a war zone. I was munching on snacks and sipping a soda as I settled in. When the time came, I went live, right on schedule. Time is up. Our grand roast session officially kicks off now. Let me get one thing straight. This stream might deal critical damage to certain toxic chicks. If you're thin-skinned, you might want to bounce now. I paused for a full minute. Not only did the count not drop, actually shot up by another 5,000. I rubbed my hands like a scheming villain. I opened the first DM. I clear my throat. First up, an anonymous submission from the literature department, class of 2020. A certain fairy princess who goes by Curvy Princess. You posted like 50 comments under some other girl's TikTok, shaming her for being pale and skinny and saying she is catering to male taste, and called her a pick-me. But you claim beauty should not be defined. Being yourself is the real beauty. But let us be real. You are not fighting beauty standards. Your brain just has a screw loose. What gives you the right to define beauty for everyone else? Now, that is a real double standard. I let out a disdainful TSK. My suggestion to the person who sent this is to DM me her handle. I absolutely have to leave a comment. She can redefine beauty all she wants. But first, she should learn to shut up and hit the gym. The comment section was instantly in stitches. I glanced at the numbers. The viewer count climbed another 1,000. All right, next one. Another anonymous one. Business English, class of 2020. Sophia Walker, I asked you out to dinner last weekend. Fine, you showed up. But you dragged 3 of your girlfriends along. You ordered a ton of expensive food. Well, I said we should split it evenly. You and your crew ate and bailed. And you blocked me. You gold-digging dog, give me my money back. I had just finished reading that. The girl in question jumped straight into the comments. Sophia Walker, David Evans, you pathetic men. You cannot say it to my face. You cannot even pay for a meal. And you call me a gold digger. That is sad. David Evans fired right back. I'm talking about you, gold digger. Dying and dashing is bad enough. You even fake going to the bathroom. And you swiped 3 roasted chickens on your way out. Are you guys refugees from famine? Sophia Walker shot back. What is wrong with taking food to go? Food conservation is a traditional virtue. Sounds like your values are the ones out of whack. And what is wrong with bringing my girlfriends? It is obvious you had other intentions. Why else would you care that I brought my girls? To be blunt, you just want to get over on me for free. A real man spends money on his girl with joy. You guys are both gross and stingy. A bunch of miserly pigs. The guys in the chat went ballistic, spamming the feed. I cannot stand your trash mouth. Did you just eat a pound of crap and lose your brain? If I ever see you in person, I will wring your neck like a chicken. Soon, more and more girls flooded the stream to defend Sophia Walker. They said the guy was obviously just cheap. He did not want to pay, but still wanted to get something out of her. And they said Sophia Walker had not done anything wrong. Calling someone a gold digger over a single meal was totally uncalled for. Then they started ranting about twisted social values and all that. But what made me sick was not even that. What disgusted me were the comments that popped up every now and then. Even after all that, I still cannot stand this. I could not hold back and went off. Some people just spew nonsense the second they open their mouths. Do you even know what gold digger means? So if the amount is small, that is not gold digging. It only counts when they are after a dowry, a car, or a house. Since when is gold digging measured by dollar amount? I honestly envy the thickness of your skin. Better take care of it. Do not wear it down. You run your mouths all day long. Like you were scared people might not realize your brain is the size of a walnut. If you genuinely believe that it is a woman's birthright to spend a man's cash, that men are born in debt to you, then just do not call it dating. Just call it collections and be done with it. Why even bother going out to eat? Why even bother with dates? Honestly, your mother gave you that face, so you would never find true love in your life. Treasure it. The live stream went completely silent. Then the chat slowly erupted. That was savage. Keep going. Do another one. Holy crap. You were literally my online voice. That was so satisfying. Already followed. Promise me you will keep this series going. I kept going through the submissions. A full 10 of them, all wild stories. One was about a girl stringing along multiple guys. Another was about a girl who preached radical feminism and ripped into any man she saw. When the stream ended, I was still pumped. There's plenty more I did not get to. We will do more next time. I shut down the stream. Liam Smith was already bouncing off the walls. One night, $8 million bucks. Come on, let us split it. You take 60, I take 40. I paused. Do we not say 50-50? He said, but I did not do a thing. You were the one taking all the heat, and you were the one making all the enemies. How could I have a nerd to take half? Even I am not that shameless. I wave him off. No, we stick to the original deal, half and half. I only need a little spending cash anyway. I have other plans. He nodded. All right. I have been making too much trouble lately. With finals closing in, I was forced to cram at the last minute. I was holed up in the library every day, grinding like a maniac. One night, I stayed until nearly midnight before I left. The campus was practically deserted. I took a shortcut to get back to my dorm faster. As I passed by the campus lake, I suddenly spotted a few figures lurking under the streetlights. They were trailing me without a sound. I stiffened and spun around. 4 or 5 guys emerged from the darkness. Their eyes were sharp as knives. One of them spoke up. James Miller, you have pulled so much shady crap, and you have got the nerve to be out here at night. I cannot help but laugh. I shrugged. I did not do anything wrong. Let me take a wild guess. You guys are the top simps for those girls, are you not? What? Your queen got her feelings hurt and sent you to fight her battles. The ringleader sneered. There are no cameras around here. If you do not get on your knees and beg for forgiveness, do not cry when we go hard on you. They closed in step by step, but I stayed cool and pulled out my phone. A few seconds later, one of them had just drawn his fist back to swing at me. A girl suddenly sprang forward. She took the hit right in my place. She let out a scream and crumpled to the ground in front of them. I gave that girl the okay sign. Her name was Ava Jenkins, a fashion design major, a year behind me. She had acting chops that were scary good. Ever since that live stream, I had heard that people were gunning for me, so I used a sliver of the system cash. I hired her to help me out, because when you're dealing with gold diggers and simps, you do not let a chance like that go to waste. So that night when I left the library, Ava Jenkins had been tailing me the whole time from a distance. In under 10 seconds, those guys fled like startled animals, running off in every direction. They obviously knew exactly how bad things could get if a girl accused them of something. Ava Jenkins picked herself up and blinked at me. Did you get that on video? Was my fall graceful enough? I was speechless. I nodded. Got it, very graceful. She smiled, satisfied. Walking back, Ava Jenkins finally gave in to curiosity. Honestly, I still do not understand. Why would you risk making enemies of all those people on purpose? I stopped at the stairwell and turned to face her, arms open. I just told the truth. Maybe in real life, nobody has the guts to say that stuff to their face. They fell apart because I was too honest. It hit right at their fragile little egos. And then those man-hating girls. Go find some other guy to stand up for them. What? You think I am out of line? Ava Jenkins blinked and shook her head quickly. No, you are absolutely right. Before I went to bed, I sent her the payment. I remember back when I had hired her. I had heard her family was going through a rough patch. Her parents were in the hospital, and she was desperate for cash. So I added a little extra, as a bonus for her hard work. Half an hour later, she sent the extra back. She told me, I do not want that. You are a student just like me. You are spending your parents' money. You should save it. Money does not come easy. Just stick to our original deal. I'm not taking a penny over. I was taken aback when I heard that. It had been ages since I had met a girl like that. Just then, Liam Smith barged into my room. Yes, ever since we had gotten rich, we had moved into a big house together. We could put up with anything except a crappy place to live. Liam Smith burst in looking hyped. Did the system not say it was going to swap hosts? It is probably busy disconnecting. That is why it has been acting weird. I just overheard it say something. If you can make Ava Jenkins hate you, the payout is $5 million. I went completely rigid. What the hell? How does one girl's hatred equal thousands from the live stream? Liam Smith guessed. Maybe this world is some kind of novel. Ava Jenkins has got that main character energy, so she's different. Her reward is off the charts. So the challenge has to be way harder too. I checked her Instagram and saw she was still posting about looking for gigs. I thought for a moment and I messaged her, saying I wanted to keep her on for another week. And I laid out the plan for the next day. The next day, when Ava Jenkins met me at the restaurant, she saw me in a shirt that was absolutely mangled with wrinkles. The collar was stained yellow like old pickles. She definitely did a double take. During the meal, I threw all decorum out the window. I chowed down like a total animal without holding back. She finally could not keep quiet. When is the last time you actually had a meal? I looked at her blankly. Huh, she said. If you were really that broke, I can lend you a little cash. I was speechless for a moment. It had always been easy to milk the system before, because those women were too easy to read. Their flaws were glaringly obvious. I just had to zero in on their pressure points. But with Ava Jenkins, there was almost nothing to go after. I was still scratching my head over it. Willow pushed through the restaurant door. The second she spotted me, she went straight on the attack. James Miller, you are really something. Out here scamming girls again. I flip her off. Willow got even more riled up. She yanked Ava Jenkins aside and started filling her head with garbage. Girl, listen to me. James Miller said, if he married you and paid a dowry, that is the same as buying himself a lifelong maid. Does he even have a clue about gender equality? Why should women have to serve men like maids? His values are clearly warped. He sees women as tools. Women are woke now. That is why he hates women so much. Do not let him trick you. This gross guy is disgusting through and through. I asked Willow, did you eat crap and forget to wipe your mouth? Willow went ballistic. Right in front of everyone, she grabbed Ava Jenkins's cup, ready to hurl it at my face. But Ava Jenkins blocked her. Willow shouted, what are you doing? Ava Jenkins tilted her head. He's my boss. Willow screamed, how much is he paying you to sell out your own gender? Ava Jenkins rolled her eyes. Honestly, I cannot care less about your little drama. All I want to say is yes. The idea of using a dowry to buy a lifelong maid is indeed problematic, and it does objectify women. But who is the one asking for the dowry? Are men shoving it onto women? Are men demanding that women take it? If that were true, I would be on your side. So at the end of the day, who is really objectifying women? Willow was totally floored. I was also floored. It had been a seriously long time since I had met a girl like that. Lying in bed that night, I just sighed to myself. I was probably never getting that Ava Jenkins bonus. Suddenly, Liam Smith leaned in. James Miller, maybe we can still make her hate you. I asked. How? He said. Try playing the male gold digger. Damn, that is dirty. But it might be worth a try. We grabbed the system's cash first, then pay her back double. I messaged her, saying I was in a tight spot and needed cash. Sure enough, within 30 seconds, Ava Jenkins sent me $20,000 straight up, with a note attached. This is all I've got on me right now. Use it for whatever you need. Hang in there, every storm passes. Liam Smith and I stared at that text. We were so guilty we could not even speak. In the middle of the night, we both sat bolt upright. We locked eyes and said at the exact same time, we are the worst. Early the next morning, we could not handle the guilt eating at us anymore. So we decided to go find Ava Jenkins and come clean. But we walked right into her having a fight with someone. That was the first time I had ever seen someone as even-keeled as her actually lose her cool. She was furious. Did we not agree on 50 grand? The guy across from her was wearing a suit and glasses. He had this sleazy grin as he told Ava Jenkins, this cheap stuff of yours is worth 20 grand at most. Paying you 20,000 is already generous of me. Do not get too full of yourself. Girls like you are exactly what the big shots like to play around with. Know your place, sweetheart. I have been around the block more times than you have had hot meals. I walked straight over, grabbed the salad off the table, and dumped it right over his head. I laid into him. With all that salt you have eaten, how are you still alive? Old creep harassing a girl. You have got no shame, get lost. The middle-aged guy jumped up and was about to come at me. But we were right next to campus. The place was packed with college kids. Someone immediately stood up and shouted, "Do not act tough just because you are older. We are not putting up with that. Get the hell out." His face went beet red. He grabbed his bag and slunk off with his tail between his legs. Before he left, he jabbed a finger at Ava Jenkins. "Let us see who else you can sell that to." I said, "Sell it to me." Ava Jenkins froze when she heard that. She asked, "Do you even know what I am selling?" I scratched my head. "No clue, but I am buying. You can tell me after." Damn, so this was what it felt like to be loaded. Money definitely made you sound confident. It was a good feeling. Ava Jenkins explained. She was selling an entire collection of clothing she had designed herself. It was a collection she had spent 2 full years perfecting. She had planned to put together a team and launch her own label, but her family had gone bust out of nowhere, with zero capital to get started, and nobody was willing to back her. In the end, she had been forced to sell off 2 years of blood, sweat, and tears. The second I heard that, I said I would back her. Liam Smith jumped in too. "I will throw in 2 million. Ava Jenkins was frozen for a long moment. Her eyes welled up as she choked out. For real, Liam Smith and I both looked away. We did not have the guts to tell her the real reason. We were just eaten up with guilt. And Ava Jenkins herself was one of a kind. Her work was clearly worth taking a chance on. If she ever made it big down the line, we would be sitting on a major stake. Getting our money back would be a cakewalk. Later on, Ava Jenkins used our investment and built up her own label without a hitch. In the meantime, Liam Smith and I went all in, milking that system for every last drop. In 2 short months, we had hauled in another 10 million. From that point on, my reputation at school was completely nuclear. Girls on campus would go out of their way to avoid me. I heard that anywhere girls hung out, they had put up a sign, "No James Miller or dogs allowed," sitting on a mountain of cash. I actually thought they looked pretty cute when they were mad. Finally, the system reached out. It had successfully swapped hosts. Liam Smith was holed up in my room, watching the screen and giving me a play-by-play. The system said, 1 minute until the switch. It also said, because of the losses, it was getting disciplined by its boss, and it hoped it would never run into us again. This time, the new host it had applied for had to be greedy and slippery enough, and have a brother dumb enough to get easily backstabbed. Countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liam Smith took a deep breath. "James Miller, the system is out of my head." I gave him a pat on the back. I was about to suggest we go grab some barbecue to celebrate. But then, a cheerful robotic voice suddenly echoed in my skull. "Hello, host James Miller. I am Backstab System 438. From now on, as long as you betray your brother Liam Smith and make more women hate him, you will get even more cash." It was mid-sentence when it seemed to realize something was wrong. It immediately freaked out and shrieked. "No way. How are you two again? Why?" I busted out laughing on the spot. This plot twist was way too insane. Liam Smith had just been unbound, and the system went and latched onto me instead. I was doubled over, laughing my head off. Liam Smith was scared out of his mind, thinking the system transfer had fried my brain. When I finally managed to tell him the whole story through my laughter, Liam Smith clenched his teeth and said, "So I am the dumb brother. I'm not okay with that." I said, "Now we can start cashing in again." He shot back, "Then I will just act even dumber." The system had a total meltdown. It was screaming and scrambling around inside my skull, like it was thrashing around in the dark. It even threatened to cut the connection all over again. But last time it had taken 3 months to get off Liam Smith. This time would definitely not be shorter. That meant we still had at least 3 months to fleece it. Just the thought of it had me buzzing with excitement. But when I calmed down, I spotted a major problem right away. I had always been great at pissing people off. Making women despise me was second nature. But Liam Smith was a different story. He was easy on the eyes and easygoing. He did not like confrontation, and he was slow to fire back. How are we going to make women hate him? We just stared at each other. Just then Liam Smith's phone buzzed. He mouthed to me, "It is about that group mixer." My eyes lit up, and I waved for him to answer. Liam Smith reluctantly accepted. Then he frowned. "It is girls my old roommates set up, but their worldview. They're about on par with our old high school crew." I was pumped. "What are you talking about? Those are cash cows, bro. Whether we keep getting rich is all on you now." Liam Smith had no faith in himself. He thought he was not good at going after people. He figured it would be tough to get girls mad enough to despise him. I decided to tag along. I sat at the table right behind him, ready to play backup and feed him lines. Turns out we were stressing over nothing. One of the girls introduced herself in this fake, breathy voice. Liam Smith passed her a glass of water and said, "Do not strain your voice. If you have got something stuck in there, have some water and take a breather." The fake socialite tossed her hair and asked, "Do I look like that famous actress?" Liam Smith replied, "When you're not smiling, you look like an octopus." The fake socialite was stunned. She fought to force out a smile. Then Liam Smith piled on, "Now you look even more like one." Watching her face drop, Liam Smith only then realized he had put his foot in it again. He scrambled to backpedal. No, no, no. When you do smile, that little gap between your teeth is really cute." I was at the table behind him, biting my lip so hard I nearly choked from holding the laughs. Liam Smith had no clue how devastating he could be, as each girl's expression soured one after another. The money in my account kept climbing. When it was over, Liam Smith asked nervously, "James Miller, we did not actually make that much, did we? Next time I'll try to go off like you do." I gave him a knowing pat. "Do not sell yourself short. You are way more unlikable than I am." Liam Smith was at a loss for words. I clapped my hands. "Let's start the next stream." Liam Smith asked, "Are we doing DMs again?" I said, "No, this time just have a casual chat with them." We had no idea when the system would try to jump ship again. So the very next day, we went live on TikTok again. At first, the numbers were low. A few minutes in, Liam Smith randomly connected with a girl. The girl probably thought he was cute, so she took the lead and started chatting him up. At my old school, I had so many guys after me. I was practically fighting with other girls every single day. Liam Smith looked baffled. "Wait, why were they fighting with you?" The girl let out a little snort. "Because they were jealous of how pretty I am. If their boyfriends could not keep in their pants, that is not my problem. And then they would call me shameless. So naturally I cussed them out too." Liam Smith went quiet for a moment. Then he asked, "But if they did not call you shameless, would you really stop being shameless?" The room went dead silent. The girl hung up on him immediately. Liam Smith's style of savage without swearing streaming style quickly drew in a crowd of viewers. The comments started rolling in. "This streamer has such a unique vibe. He roasts people without a single swear word. This is a skill the whole country should learn." Liam Smith looked totally confused. "What skill?" "I am just telling the truth." The chat answered, "That is even more savage." I was lying in bed, listening to the cash alerts ping over and over again. I felt like I was on top of the world. Realizing the system had been quiet for a bit, I decided to poke at it. "You sure this backstab system of yours will not just keep bleeding cash forever?" After a long silence, it answered in a gloomy tone. "Before I ran into you too, I always won. Humans are inherently selfish. No matter how tight two people are, the moment I show up, their first instinct is to hide me, and then betray their friends just the way I tell them. You two are the only exception." I never imagined Liam Smith would not even know how to properly backstab someone. The system paused and added, "Based on the data, you are sly and greedy. If you had been the host from the beginning, I would have won countless times already." I got quiet. I said, "You just do not get people. Liam Smith and I have been friends since we were 7. My mom walked out on me and my dad back then. His mom had cheated when he was just a kid. My dad busted his ass to support me. He worked himself to the bone, grinding around the clock just to keep us afloat. Every morning, I would walk to school by myself. I would grab a couple of dollars from the tin can in the kitchen for breakfast. But sometimes my dad would forget to refill it, and I would just have to go to school on an empty stomach. Liam Smith would always share his breakfast with me. At first, I figured his family was doing fine, that he had been taken care of and spoiled growing up, which was why he was so generous. Until I walked past his house after school one day. and saw him sitting on the doorstep in tears. There was a fresh red handprint clearly stamped on his cheek. He had accidentally let something slip. He had spilled the beans about his mom's affair and got smacked for it. Shouting was coming from inside the house, mixed in with all kinds of nasty insults. That was the first time I took him back to my house. He stuttered. "From now on, I will bring you breakfast every single day. Will you look out for me at school?" I forgot to mention, back then I was getting into fights every single day. I was not afraid of anyone. He was the quiet, good kid type who got pushed around all the time, and he saw this as paying me protection fees. We have been through over a decade together. We have had each other's backs the whole way. We definitely both love money, because I needed to earn enough to take care of my old man, and he wanted to use it to get away from that house. For us, money was security. It was everything. The system started trying to get into my head again, telling me most friendships were phony, that friends might want you to succeed, but they would never want you to do better than them. I shot back coldly. "Do not throw your cold data at me. To measure human feelings." The system was so mad, it was cursing and swearing it would find another host. As we got closer to graduation, its request to swap hosts was finally approved. Before it left, it told me, "One day I will come back to prove that people like you are just a rare exception." I smiled back at it. Once you have met more people, you will realize humans are way more complicated and diverse than you could ever imagine. The system disappeared. Liam Smith and I counted up all our money. We decided to go on a cross-country trip first, so we did not even bother with internships or job hunting. The girls I had roasted in my TikTok streams somehow got word that we had not even sent out a single resume, showed up to mock us and rub it in. As we were packing up to leave campus, we ran right into Willow Thompson and Sophia Walker. They were both in these ill-fitting designer dresses, strutting around like they owned the place. "So we heard you two did not even get internships." I smiled. "We did not get any, so what?" Sophia Walker said. "Moving out already? What a bunch of losers. No car, no house, and you walk around like hot stuff." I just smiled and stayed quiet. The Rolls-Royce we had just bought was sitting right by the campus gate. The beachfront villa we bought in Malibu had just broken ground on renovations last month. If we did not act tough, then who would? Liam Smith and I were pinching each other's legs until they were black and blue, just barely keeping from busting out laughing. But we forgot that our tight-lipped faces looked even more sarcastic than if we had been crying. Willow Thompson was so mad, she jabbed a finger at me. "Let me tell you, I am going to Penguin Industries for an interview tomorrow. After that, you will not even be fit to look me in the eye." Sophia Walker chimed in. "Do not bother, they would not get it anyway. Do they even know what Penguin Industries is? It is the fastest rising fashion brand in the country. Remember that collection that went viral earlier this year? The one even the news was talking about. That was Penguin's work." She smiled lightly. "And Penguin CEO is a woman. While you guys are still looking down on women, women are already on top of the pyramid. One day you'll be bowing down to us." They linked arms, lifted their chins, and strutted away in glory. Liam Smith and I looked at each other, eyes wide. I asked, "Remember what Ava Jenkins' company was called?" At the Penguin Industries offices in Manhattan. Ava Jenkins was leading Liam Smith and me through the building. Employees we passed were murmuring under their breath. "Who are those two? Do we have visitors today?" Even if they're guests, Ava Jenkins would not personally come greet them, right? And being so respectful, the whispers kept multiplying. Ava Jenkins finally stopped and turned around and introduced us right there to everyone. "All right, let me introduce you all. These two are shareholders of Penguin Industries. Without them, Penguin would not even exist." Everyone's jaws dropped. Then a wave of enthusiastic applause broke out. Inside her office, Ava Jenkins gave us a full breakdown of the company's earnings over the past few months. Liam Smith and I were completely blown away. Back then, we just tossed in some cash without thinking twice. Who knew that in no time flat, it would balloon by hundreds of times? During the meeting, assistants were coming in and out. I asked offhandedly, "Are there interviews happening today?" The assistant nodded. "Yes, on the 5th floor. They start in 10 minutes. Would you like to sit in, Mr. Miller?" I smiled. "Add another seat for me, please." "Thanks." When we got downstairs, the interviews were just getting ready to begin. Sophia Walker and Willow Thompson were in the hallway. nervously fixing their outfits. Willow Thompson said, "I'm a little nervous." Sophia Walker shot back, "What is there to be nervous about? Did I not already tell you? My cousin is a team leader in there. She has already smoothed everything over for us. The spots are ours." They took a few deep breaths until they heard their names being called. Willow Thompson and Sophia Walker walked into the interview room together. The second they saw me, they both froze. "James Miller, what are you doing here?" The assistant was taken aback. She quickly spoke up. "This gentleman is. He is not part of the interview process." Willow Thompson jabbed a finger at me and screamed. "He definitely pulled some strings to get in here. You have to investigate this." The room went dead quiet. The assistant's expression darkened. She said in a cold voice, "Please lower your voices. This man is one of our company's shareholders, Mr. Miller. He is sitting in as one of the interviewers today, and he has veto power." Willow Thompson and Sophia Walker's faces went white as sheets. I curled the corner of my mouth. I leaned back in my chair and gestured to them with an open hand. "Please start your performance." The system could tally every gain, but it could never tally the human heart. The true winners were not the ones who schemed and clawed their way over others, but the ones who saw the rules for what they were and still held on tight to their friends. In a world that measures everything, may you never lose that unquantifiable honesty. Never forget that the truest fortune you will ever have is peace of mind and the one person you would trust to watch your six.